he over 35.
Oh,
okay.
Is he a kid when it happened, though? Or no?
No, he was. No, you could tell he wasn't a child. No, he wasn't a child. But I don't know. I mean, because I mean, none of the Cowboys for Angels, who did this work, they don't seem traumatized. But maybe it's because they're like, oh, this was my job. You know what I mean? I got paid. This dude, he doesn't seem like he was a part of like what is a company, that provides services.
J-Lo never testified, right?
Yeah, no, J-Lo's like, I ain't pulling my ass.
Everybody would have been talking about that if she did.
You feel me? So it's like everybody's surgically selected in all of this involved. Everybody. So it's just screamed performative to protect Swift.
So the question is, what would she be? I mean, two questions. One, what would she have been able to testify to? And then two, whatever she would have been able to testify to, considering their relationship, I think would have been outside of statute of limitations period. So she wouldn't have been able to provide anything that would be useful, I think. And I think the defense would have been like, yo, like, who the fuck is she? Like, why the hell is she even testifying to things that took place decades ago?
Yeah, it has to be within the 10-year period.
Exactly.
That is true. Because I didn't know about that requirement, and that is deep. Diddy is, listen, Diddy, he's not going, I mean, we already know he don't care. But if he gets, like, these lesser charges, he really needs to kind of count his blessings and try to move on, because he has already been given so much grace in his life. But I don't even think that he sees it that way.
I just want to let you know if he's gone obvious, he will be right, and he'll be doing a prequel tomorrow morning.
The gun charges itself, right? Didn't they find a bunch of like unmarked guns in both of his houses, like with the serial number scratched off?
Yeah.
They found all that stuff in both of his houses.
Yeah,
and he didn't. They weren't able to charge him with that, or they threw it out, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
yeah, I don't believe this shit.
You don't believe what, Water? What's your latest conspiracy theory?
I just don't believe they give a fuck. I believe he's the whipping boy for even mentioning bringing up a black party, and yeah, they're gonna show you. We're not gonna hang you. We're not gonna say what you did like us, because we did it too. But we're gonna slap you on the wrist for speaking out of turn, sir.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I can see that. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the same way. Well, I shouldn't say the same way, because I ain't know these mob bosses. But generally speaking, the way that mob bosses, they murder people, they've done all type of stuff, but they go down for tax evasion, I'm fine with it. I don't care what Diddy goes down for, because he's already done so much stuff to so many people. I mean, come on, God, you got to come through. Or maybe it's not even this case. Maybe, maybe he gets something small. So, I mean, I keep hearing that maybe he will, because remember R. Kelly, didn't he have a couple of cases in 2 different cities?
Yeah, he's in New York and Chicago.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that maybe they're like, it's okay, we got something for your ass in Miami. Did he? I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't even following, but I feel like I have to now. But,
I think he's going to have to flee the country after this makes it out of life.
Listen, if Diddy gets acquitted, he going to be gone.
He's wild.
He is leaving the country. With Russell Simmons, absolutely. Because he's thinking like, damn, Russ, why didn't you take me with you?
Right.
Russ is like, I tried to.
He had so many opportunities, and he didn't take none of them. So
but he tried last minute to go overseas, right? Remember, he was leaving.
True.
But they were able to get him.
But he had many opportunities.
Was that verified? I know he was in a plane. I think they brought it down, but did they verify that he was on his way overseas?
That part I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know.
I mean, that would have been such a stupid move.
But look, Russell got away with it. I mean,
well, Russell did it, I think, before. And correct me if I'm wrong, please, anybody. I think he did it before there was ever even like actual. I mean, have there ever been like state charges or any kind of criminal charges brought against Russell?
No.
Charges.
No.
Yeah, they did. So like, I mean, the kind of hot water that puts an attorney in when your client, like, if you're really, I'm just imagining this. I've never experienced it before, but if your client, and I know the criminals, so I probably wouldn't experience it. But if your client, you can imagine, like, if your client all of a sudden, like, can't be found, escapes, and it's like, yo, like, where the fuck, you can imagine, like, a federal judge be like, yo, where the fuck is he? And why don't you know where he is? Like, you just don't want to deal with that headache as an attorney. It would just be so ugly. So you're instructing your client, like, please do not leave the fucking country. Right. Whatever you do, do not leave the fucking country, please.
I get you, Black Freedom, but here is Diddy's window.
He was leaving when they ran up inside his house. You forgot?
So this is what I was gonna say. Like, this is Diddy's window because this man, he's so arrogant. See, he didn't think. Okay, so first of all, none of us knew that Cassie sent him her notes, like her book, whatever she wrote when she was in therapy, and was like, hey Sean, you know, I know we're not together, but could you please read this, because I just really want you to know what I went through with you. I really want you to understand, right? And you like, fuck you, Cassie, I ain't reading shit, okay? So from that moment, and then she comes with the lawsuit, and he's like, oh shit, let me settle this within 24 hours, right? From the moment that Tony Busby said, hey everybody, I'm opening a hotline for any of you who are, you know, have complaints and so on. So now you're Diddy, you know what you did. You know what you have done in your life. So even if you thought you might pile up civil lawsuits like you have, because he has 80, you know at least half of the shit that you have done is criminal. And just to be on the general safe side, you should have gotten your ass up and out and to Bali with Russell Simmons before there were ever any charges filed. That's his arrogance that I'm talking about. Because it was some time. It didn't happen in days and hours.
That's right, I get that. And you know, your client can ultimately do what the fuck ever they want to do, and you're left dealing with it. So yeah, I agree with that.
They'd be like, we don't know where our dad is. I mean, I'm just saying, like, and he, to be honest, he could have plausible deniability. He could just be like, look, you know, I went through a lot. You know, that was embarrassing. When you know, when the tape came out, you know, I had to apologize publicly. I never wanted that tape to come out. I just wanted to get out of here and clear my head because there were no charges filed. You know what I mean? And then you could be like, well, I didn't know there were any charges filed, but now that there's charges filed, I just kind of feel like I'm not going to get a fair trial. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you could do like, what's his name who leaked the White House, the government paper, Julius.
Julian Assange or Edward Snowden?
Yeah.
I think it was Edward Snowden. No.
Both of them. Pull a Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and be like, I don't think I'm gonna get a fair trial. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, if you know you're in your 50s, you know what I mean, and you know you ain't trying to do a day in jail.
It's too late for all that, though. I mean, he had a.
It is.
Time the charges came, they was tracking this private plane and all that. Like they were on the feds, or not like the state.
That's when he was pacing to the front of the airport. You got
I do think he's going to end up doing some time, though. I don't think he's going to walk away with this clean. I believe it was Gemini who said it. Like, I think the Mann Act is. I think that's clear. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for the defense to get over. Consent or no consent, right? Like, you don't need coercion for the Mann Act.
And I did not know that. That is deep. That right there is deep, because Cowboys and Angels, they say you're paying for their time. It doesn't matter what you do. You could go horseback riding, play games, just talk to them. Like, it's not explicit that you have to have sex.
Yes, we got a lot of prostitutes get away with it. You're paying for my time, you're paying for my companionship, but we so happen to connect sexually. That's just us.
And Gemini makes a great point. Like, it's the intent, right? So it doesn't have to be anything completed. Like, if the intent is, I am purchasing your services, your sexual services, you're traveling from one state to another, even if you don't engage in those services, the intent was for you to do so. So the mens rea, as we like to say in the law, the criminal mind was there when you made the transaction.
And you know what? Now I'm realizing that even though they talked about the sex a lot, that's why they made the jurors watch 2 tapes, so that they could see from beginning to end how this goes down. Remember, they started off just with the request and the text messages to Cassie, to Daphne Joy, you know what I mean? Then the text messages from KK, the travel plans, you know what I mean? All of that stuff, and then it ends with the tape. Because I was like, y'all really making the jurors watch porn? Like, really? You really doing this? Oh my God.
That is crazy, right?
And were y'all here when we talked about like their reactions? Because basically it was reported that all the men were like real attentive, and that some of the women,
they want to be prepared for trial.
Yeah, I know. They just doing their work. They just doing their homework. They're being good jurors. But some of the women had like turned away. Some people took off their earphones. And they're the only people that could see and hear. Well, they're supposed to be the only people that can see and hear the freak-off tapes. But because some of them took off their headphones, because they didn't, it was like a little too much, you could, people in the courtroom could hear a little bit coming out of the headphones. Ciao.
I don't think we're going to have a verdict today. Nobody thinks that, right?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm guessing Wednesday.
If there's a verdict today, you know what that verdict will be, right?
Guilty.
Absolutely. They come back that quick. It's guilty.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. My understanding was that if they come back quick like that, it's guilty. If they don't, well, I don't know.
That's just what I've heard prosecutors say. The longer a jury debates, they feel like they're having a harder time finding them guilty.
Right. That's what I heard too. But maybe OJ's case turned the United States upside down. So maybe things changed. I don't know. But I mean, so how do you, like, let me ask y'all this question, because I really do feel like our community, it's not just our community, but I'm just going to say, I really do believe that our community has been harmed by this case. How do you feel like we should process or help people or help ourselves, like, deal with kind of like the fallout of this case?
Could you say more about that, Dr. AG? Like, so the way I'm thinking about it is obviously the harm of the members of our community. like black folks who are actually involved in these freak offs, the emotional manipulation, all that stuff. But as a clarifying question, are you talking about culturally? Just curious about what your thoughts are when you ask that question.
Yeah, I feel like we've been culturally harmed. I feel like we've been harmed gender-wise, in terms like even like so many of the arguments and the disagreements that have happened on Clubhouse, what's in the news, this national discussion, like this is like I'm furious with Diddy, you know what I mean, and at the same time I'm like, I guess this just had to happen, but I hate that it is happening without a cure, right? Because him being sent away is not that's just like I guess you could say that's a part of it, but I just feel like you're leaving us out here raw, and like it sounds like we all need some type of group counseling, like, because I just don't think that like we expected this to go down this way. And he is, like he is a cultural icon. When I was in a room and, there was a couple of people who had, they either, they didn't work direct, sort of. One of them worked for a Diddy company but didn't work with Diddy, if that makes any sense. And then another one had a relative who did work with Diddy, or who was like a part of the family or whatever. Like, it's just, what do I want to say about them? Sorry, I went blank for a second.
Take your time.
Dot. I got it. Dot.
Okay, go ahead.
Dot. You know I love you, Dot. Dot. Group counseling. I went through so much real shit in my life that I am more worried about stepping in dog shit. Like group counseling? For Puffy? For Diddy?
It's for us.
He did not affect me emotionally, physically, mentally, on any level. And one thing we have to do is stop, and I learned this early on, and maybe that's why I'm responding this way. I don't look up to any celebrity like that. No celebrity will ever have any impact on my life in that way. Not unless I'm in close proximity to them and I actually communicate with them directly. There is no, like, I'm not thinking about semen on my nipples. I'm not thinking... None of this. I'm just not, you don't do it to me. I don't, let me mute my mic.
No, I don't think it's because he's a celebrity. I don't mean like that. Although, a part of it I do, just because, that's right, that's what I meant to say. The person who had relatives or worked, in this company, whatever, he was saying that Diddy hired thousands of black folks in particular, and I never saw him that way. And I was just like, really interesting. Like, I never imagined like thousands, but that's what he said. Now, maybe he was exaggerating, but all I'm saying is that, and maybe it's also because I'm a woman, Gemini, I will say this, and also because I have dated a narcissist, and they are harmful people, right? That I have been triggered by this trial. And I'm like, I got flashbacks, I'm having memories, and then also just in these fucking Clubhouse rooms, like all the people, like y'all are more advanced, but I'm just gonna say, I know that you have heard it, like men and women, like fuck that bitch, just that money hungry ass bitch. She deserves everything she got. She is hoe ass. And I'm just thinking myself, really?
I'd have been in a room where it was just me and a bunch of dudes that thought like that, and I was surprised it was that many dudes that thought like that. Fact.
That's what I'm saying. And on Clubhouse, there's, literally, we speak to like thousands of people a day. And I'm just like, y'all really believe, you really feel that way? And it's just kind of like, and I'm like, I don't think that I would make the same mistakes as Cassie, but like, I've been 19 before. I was 27 when I met my first narcissist, and he like almost ruined my life. I'm so glad that I made the decisions that I made, but if you talk to my friends for a certain period of time, they were like, "Oh my God, I remember that phase. I'm so glad you're over it." Like, I don't. Why do people think that we're supposed to just like inherently know all the manipulation tactics, all the coercion, all the lies? Like, there was another room. I don't know if y'all heard the Plan B. They had a room. It was a good room, but it was should we hold men accountable for selling women dreams? I thought it was a great question. But people went off. They was like, no, you need to know better. You need to know. And I was like, at what age? I mean, what are y'all talking about? Like, at what age are you supposed to know that a person that's like, if you meet somebody as a teenager, you're supposed to know that they're lying? Like, how? I mean, I'm just saying, like, other than, I guess you could say, like, your instincts might tell you something. But you might know, like, something is not adding up or whatever, but they just blamed the victim wholeheartedly, and it got to the point where they blamed the men too. So we talked about Cardi B in that room and under that question, and so one of the women was like, "Well, wait a minute, like, were the men that Cardi B robbed, drugged and robbed, were they victims?" And the men were like, "No," they were like, "No, he wasn't a fucking victim. You gotta know better. You gotta know better." And I was just like, what are you... If you go to a strip club and you want to meet a stripper, like, that means that you it's okay for you to be drugged and robbed? Are you out of your mind? I was yelling at them at the top of my lungs, like, what are y'all talking about? I'm just saying, we're not good at this abuse thing. We're not good at this empathy thing. We've got a lack of understanding in our community. We down bad. That's how I feel. We're down bad. We're down bad. And like mainstream, like when this case is over, ain't nothing mainstream America's going to do to lift us up or to try to heal us or anything like that. We in fact we going right on to gay bashing and abuse, because now Tyler Perry got a lawsuit against him. That's just what I mean.
I don't think people really care about like Tyler Perry on the gay side. I don't think that was a big negative issue. I think it was more about him suppressing it, and then if he's actually being predatory. I haven't heard somebody like, I can't believe you, like. I don't think people even. I think he made his name dressing as a woman. That literally was his claim to fame. Like, that's how he became known. Like, we all know Medea. So where's the surprise there? I think it's the predatory nature of these things. Like, even if Diddy had came out as gay, I don't think people would have really cared about him being gay. I think it was more about him suppressing it and then using a third party. Now he got Cassie running back and forth with deposit semen on his nipples, and like,
see, I look at you.
Yeah, I mean that's just the facts, though. So I think that aspect is more shocking than if Diddy would have came out as gay. I think there'd have been some pushback because the alpha nature of the hip hop culture up front. There's never been a real popular out gay rapper that everybody knows is a gay rapper. So I think that would be an issue, but I don't think people care about Tyler Perry like that as far as the gay side of it. I think it's the predators that are really getting the pushback. People are more open-minded nowadays.
I mean,
drama.
I don't know. I hope we have grown, a bit. I hope people feel like they've learned some lessons, their eyes are open, something. Because Diddy's example is extreme, right? It's very extreme. You're not going to be constantly flued out to tropical places, and you're not going to always be up in Trump Tower. speaking of, remember when Daphne? This is not funny, but this is just like,
Diddy was more you talking about. It ain't funny. Go ahead though.
I know, because it's so diabolical what he would be doing. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, because this was like the second time he told her, like, no, it's just gonna be me and you. You know what I mean? And then she said she pulled up, in the vehicle, and she happened to know that she was outside of Trump Tower. And she happened to look up and she saw a room, and there was red lights coming out, and she knew that it was her room. Like, that is just, I mean, I'm just like, Diddy, you're wild as hell. You didn't care at all. You ain't care. You was like, listen, I'm gonna get these freak offs. I just, I think, maybe I'm laughing because I'm just like, I thought I heard it all. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, I did not. You have not heard it all. One of the podcasters that I listened to, she was saying that, like, so much of what Diddy has done is like it's very close to our real relationships, and that's why a lot of people, like, they couldn't see the Rico. They literally cannot see the Rico because of what they've done in their personal lives and or being obsessed with movies and television and just like not being in touch with reality.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When people say that he's not, that they don't feel like he's guilty, I don't get upset. But I get upset when they start talking on the victim. But I don't get upset when they say that, because these same people hide their uncles, hide their family members that do things like this. So I don't take it personal when they side with Diddy Bob. And it's like, you don't even protect your own. So why would you even care about any of these victims? That's not your family, that's not your own, right? If you don't even protect your own.
So what would have made this, what's the difference between a freako and a Rico?
Freako.
Not a freako and a Rico.
Started picking out the shirts.
Oh God, I wasn't right.
I'm trying to understand this. So, what's the difference?
It's individualized.
You know what, Gemini? I'm actually.
Would you say a freako would be not involving no employees, just you being the head of it, like you planning everything out yourself, not involving any employees, and then you just hiring those workers and then letting those women know letting the women know on a contract what they're going to be doing? Would that be considered a freako?
Then, because I'm paying them to perform sex acts.
Yeah. He's paying both parties, right? Because he's paying the men and the women.
Still paying. You're paying two prostitutes. You paying instead of one.
Oh, I'm trying to see what's a freako, not a Rico.
Yeah, what's a freako?
But that's what we were saying. That like Diddy, he did not like. I don't know who said it. I thought it was I don't know who said it. But earlier in the room, somebody said Diddy, if all he wanted was like the sexual part, you could have easily hired a prostitute to do those things. You had no problem hiring a male prostitute. You could have hired a female prostitute as well.
You're not following me. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without any criminal elements.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
You can hire a prostitute. Unless we in Clark County, that's a crime. So how do you do the freako without the Rico?
You just have you attend swingers parties. You have swingers parties.
So if you pick them up at the swingers location, or a question, there's a website called seekingarrangements.com. still active to this day. You clearly know those are sugar daddies that are looking for sugar babies, right? And they're paying them, whether it's for companion, whether it's whatever they're paying them for. Would you say that website is legal, or would that also fall under
That's
prostitution?
borderline.
That's very
It's
Very borderline.
the way it can be legal, and this is the way people get around it, is if I'm allowed to charge you for my time, right? I'm a companion. I am here to hang out, conversate, and just have a good time in general, not sex. Now, if I feel so inclined, we may become sexual, we may not, but that is not included in my services. That is a personal preference. That's how they get around that part. You see what I'm saying? Because now you just pay time, and anything happening in addition to that was to mutually complete adults.
So
that's
he could have done that.
Angel's contract says.
So literally, Diddy could have put a profile on that website, or he could have just went to where it's legal at, Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
He could have opened up a brothel. I'm sure Lamar Odom would have loved to be his manager.
Yeah.
And he could have just, the way that brothel had, that when you would show up there, they will line 50 beautiful women up and say, hey, which one you want? And you will go back to the bedroom with that one. But I don't think that's what he wanted, because he had the money and the power to do that, right? To open up these businesses.
Yeah.
So I don't think he wanted to do that.
But then
It wasn't fun. It wouldn't be fun for him. It wouldn't, give him. I don't know.
No, he definitely wanted the humiliation, the control. He wanted all of that. But okay, focusing on answering your question, how do you get the free go without the Rico? There are swingers, like swingers who just get together and have a good time. Why can't you do that?
That would be right. They do, right? They got locations you can go to do that, but that wouldn't be what he was looking for. He was looking for something where he can basically be a voyeur and select good-looking individuals that he could control and perform sex acts for his pleasure. That's what he was looking for. Swingers are, my wife wants you, you want his wife.
Right.
Together, we're all consensually engaging in sexual.
So then he should have been a director for porn. He should have opened up a Bad Boys porn.
Bad Boys porn in it.
Yeah.
I would have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
He'll have control. He'll get to pick the women. This is who you're going to sleep with. This is the type of scene I want to see. And sometimes I want to, jerk off. But he would have been in control. And it still would have been legal wherever he chose to do it at. Obviously, he wouldn't be able to do that in New York. I don't think a brothel can.
You should be a business consultant. You just solved Diddy's problems. Porn is all you need to do. He'd have been straight.
Bad boy porn. That's exactly correct.
Kanye said he wanted to do a porno company for a little bit, and then he just
And I'm telling you, I know Diddy understands this, but there are so many women that you don't even gotta pressure them. You ain't even gotta beat them to do this. They will be okay from the jump. You don't have to bribe them. You don't have to nothing.
Water is right. Snoop did this already. Snoop had a whole porn.
Yeah, and his wife was involved with it too.
But he wasn't in the porn. He was just there.
Are you talking about when he partnered with Girls Gone Wild?
No, I'm talking about the porn where he was walking around. It was him. He was in the porn, but he wasn't in the porn. He was just like Snoop Dogg Presents type of deal. So
but his wifey was involved too. Like she was in the mix too.
The same as the Players Club that they got downtown right now.
Yes.
They got a strip club here right now.
Yeah.
Him and his wife. But yeah, Snoop did this already. No pushback, no Rico, just a free throw.
And it was from this case that I found out. I stumbled upon a video. I had no idea. I saw Snoop flirting with Pimping, but but I had no idea that he said he, quote unquote, left his marriage for 2 years to become a pimp, to actually become a pimp.
He did. He actually pimped, but then he was falling in love with his hoes, according to him.
But yeah, that's what he was like. I messed up. I fell in love, and I'm like, because pimping is not easy, and you shouldn't be out here fucking pimping. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with these dudes?
He was around Bishop Don Juan for a while, who was telling him not to do it.
I was about to say, and he said that Bishop Don Magic Juan told him, don't do it.
He did.
And he's like, but I just had to because I grew up admiring. I'm like, so being Snoop Dogg, that's not enough for you.
You know what?
Like
the others, the grass is always greener until it ain't. You know what I mean? So he had to put his hand out there and try it. Like,
I mean, listen, y'all would say Dr. Goddess is crazy as hell if I said, y'all listen.
We say that anyway.
Y'all know this is true, but let me shape my scenario. If you found out that I was like, listen, y'all, I have always admired Maya Angelou, okay? And I know she got down when she was younger. I mean, Maya Angelou used to be a madam. I wanted to find my poetic voice. And I needed to understand just, what it would be like to be a black woman in the 21st century as opposed to the 20th. So I decided to become a madam. I mean, y'all would be like, are you serious?
You'd be surprised how many people on Clubhouse would support you.
I would support you.
I'm telling you, you know how many women you have lined up, Dr. Bobby?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
You might be a few steps away. I mean, if that's what you need.
You know what? I'm so mad. Dude, look, I mean, look.
You see how it is. You try to support somebody on Clubhouse and they get mad.
I'd be like, Dr. Goddess Sluts, may I help you? Yes, we are sponsored by Gemini Cannabis, as well as, I mean, oh my God. What'd you say?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
No, you're too low.
That would Gemini, that would open up a new distribution channel for you as well.
I wouldn't say new, but yeah, additional. How about that?
Oh my God. Oh my God. See Gemini throwing out his secret. I mean, like, it's just, I mean, I'm just, I mean, come on, like, look, it's not enough for you to be in one of the top rap groups in the entire world. It's not enough for you to have defeated one of the biggest assholes in one of the top groups in the world, meaning Snoop conquered Suge Knight. It's not enough for you to have been friends with and affiliated with and still making money off of one of the greatest rappers ever known, Tupac Shakur. It's not enough for you to have been in one of the biggest rap groups. Like, you did all of that. You traveled the world. You stuck with your high school girlfriend who also let you roam. Like, you are a he's got to be close. I don't know what his net worth is, but he's got to be approaching that billionaire status. But it's like, you done been with Martha Stewart. You made television shows. You're looked upon as such an icon that even you playing golf is not seen as like looking a little shady or whatever. Not that it is. I'm just saying. Just remember that commercial. You did all of that, and you are still not fulfilled until you can become an actual pimp.
And not even that would be fulfilling enough. The problem with the men of when you get to a certain stature is you always want more, right? More is, unless you do deep personal work, you always want more.
Yo, that's well put. I remember when they had asked Warren Buffett. Now, obviously, he's changed because he's stepping away, but they had asked him when he was late in his career at this point how much money would be enough for him to actually fall back and stop investing and so on and so forth. And he said the answer will always be just a little bit more than I have now. I think it's a mindset.
Well, and it's an addiction, right?
Yeah.
And that addiction. So the paradox is that addiction is a big reason for your success.
Right. I don't know if it's an addiction. It also can be. It can be a mindset. It can be an addiction. It can be both. The mindset can create the addiction. But I think that, like you said, that's why they're so successful. They could have stopped when they had enough money to last a lifetime, right? Their investments were solid. Their portfolio was solid. I know for sure I could sustain myself financially, living at the same level I'm at now as far as lifestyle goes, indefinitely, right? Why do they keep going? Why would you go for? Why would you want to get to 2 billion when you're already at $1 billion? You understand?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think to what CEO was saying, it's like a mindset change. Because I mean, I had a rude awakening about something that I'd forgotten recently. So I was watching, a documentary on Bill Gates, and, the rise of Microsoft. And I mean, I think we look at Bill Gates now with all of his philanthropic work as, an ideal of what, a billionaire can do in terms of social impact and helping people. But I mean, I was listening to an interview from one of the guys who worked with him early in Microsoft, and the guy was stating that, I mean, while he was going through cancer and he was walking through the hallway, he overheard Bill Gates talking with another one of their partners about removing him from the company and and taking all his, and it was like, it almost killed him. And I was like, it's very difficult to imagine Bill Gates doing that now. But I mean, those were some of the things that they did in the days when they were ruthless. So it's interesting. Yeah, I know my mic was bad earlier, Dr. Ganis. I was joking and saying that they're being enablers.
We weren't enabling, we were providing analysis.
You were encouraging her.
No,
Goddess has a stellar reputation. We can't have her even hypothetically talking about turning black women out. That's not a good PR.
I have a question.
No Clubhouse. Call me Madam Goddess. That's
I have a question for the room. Could Diddy, if he started the freak offs today, how long could he get away with it? Or, we have social media and stuff like that. Everybody has like phones now and camera phones and stuff like that. Would he be able to get away with it, or what do you guys think about that?
I think it would be much more difficult. No, I mean, I think the environment has actually changed so much regarding these things that, I mean, even just the appearance of it, probably. I mean, you saw that. What's that? That football player who got caught on that boat handing pink pills to one of the girls. It's like, I mean, those are things happened. Like, I mean, I used to live in South Beach, and I mean, those things were passing drugs and all that stuff used to happen ridiculously back in the day. It was like, now it's like, I mean, there's so, like you said, there's so many videos and everything being captured. Like, the only way you could be able to maintain that on a long level is if you were to, restrict people having access to anything that can record, which is basically about anything right now.
I don't know, part of me says it might be easier because a lot of these younger artists, etc., might be more open to it.
I wanted to say. Oh no, I know. I just wanted to say I agree with CEO's comment that he made earlier. That if you don't have some type of personal growth, you're never going to be satisfied. I sincerely believe that.
I was just saying though, see, I think that this generation positively is a lot more conservative than back then. I mean, if you look at, like, for example, spring break videos and all of these things that used to happen in clubs back in the 80s, 90s, a lot of that, people know better now, and I think it's that awareness of the fact that they're going to be captured on video, and I mean, it might stain them for their lives, that has actually created that inhibition.
Well, yeah, no, that's true. But the ones who aren't conservative are more open about their sexuality and what they do, and more bold about it. You see what I'm saying?
I hate to tell y'all this because I can tell this is who you're in proximity to type of conversation. They're not anywhere near as conservative as it used to be. Not only are they not conservative, they're documenting it on video. And there's so many opportunities and openings if you know where and when and what. It's fucking insane. Like, what are y'all talking about? Conservative?
Nah, Gemini.
Like, world?
No, I don't think you have to be in proximity. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So I've been in proximity. As I said, no, I mean, if you knew, I mean, without context, as I told you, I used to live in South, I used to live at the Mondrian. The same, the Mondrian where...
I've been to the Mondrian a ton of times.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. So I used to live there. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, I've been in proximity, but the point I'm making is that now it's much more under wraps. So I mean, if you go to the VIP, or if you go to the penthouse, or you go to the private mansion, then you'll see all of those things. But I remember like South Beach or even Cancun. I mean, those places back in like the 90s, you didn't have to go to those places to see those things. It was like out in public. I mean, you remember Girls Gone Wild, and I mean those type, and even that synced video you're talking about, West Coast Productions. Like, I mean, those things used to be open. It's like, I mean, people were capturing it as it was happening out in public, on the beach, on Ocean Drive, everywhere. So that's what I'm saying now. It's like, now the fact that it's gone behind the velvet rope is a fact that, I mean, I'm not saying that you don't still have the freaks. I'm just saying that they're not as prevalent and they're not as
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, my greatest regret in my early 20s was I missed Freaknik by 1 year.
Oh, see, you know I went to school in Atlanta, right?
Oh, did you?
Yes. I was at the first Freaknik, and it really was,
No!
Freaknik changed. Yeah, yes, Gemini. No, but Freaknik changed over the years. It didn't start out the way people think that it did go down years later, but like it didn't start off that way. It really was like a college campus, college team organizing type of thing. And it was
Dr.
so
Goddess, no. You're not going to black power this. It's literally called Freaknik. It's
well,
literally
it had
called
a
Freak.
different.
Freaky.
Well,
Come on, Dr. Goddess.
Niggas.
no. Like, no, I agree, but that wasn't the original name either. So I just wanted to say that. Like, what? No. So let me just describe what we encountered. Okay. So Freaknik. Yeah. Oh God. I mean. Yeah, so that did become a name, so I'm just gonna keep calling it Freaknik. But what it started off being was they chose a venue off campus, and I don't even remember exactly where it was at first, but what I do remember about it is that there were like 3 or 4 different, I'm gonna call them barns. Okay, but we were definitely in some type of a park. We were in some type of outside area. Okay, the music was loud as hell. You had a bit of a drive, and the drive was important because you had to drive through downtown Atlanta. Okay, they had different parties in different barns, but they were all close together, so you could literally party hop. And you would be in the reggae barn. And you go hop over and you would be in the hip hop barn. It's like that's how it started, okay? Then there was easily kind of like what do you want to do beforehand? then it was like, what are you going to do after, right? And so that then like what ended up happening is like a lot of people from Miami, a lot of people from the surrounding states and cities were like, oh, they partying in Atlanta. And that's when it started to become overcrowded, and it was still fun, I'll admit, that like if just even driving through the streets in Atlanta became fun. It was like you didn't even have to try to go to the party because there was so much traffic. I mean, me and my girls, we met people like just in traffic. Like, okay, give me your number. You cute? What you doing? Like, all just literally talking to people who were going the opposite direction. It just became packed. And then after it became packed, to be honest, it just kind of got like downright trifling. So I'll tell y'all that like it got to the point where I remember Minister Khaled was in town, and I'm talking about Khaled Muhammad, right? He was like, I saw a woman walking butt naked down the street. I mean, it got real trifling. So I'll admit that, but I'm just telling y'all that's not how it started, and it definitely got bigger. People came from all over, and it got nastier. That's my narrative.
And this is your Freaknik origin story.
Right. She sounds like all the people that said that I went to a Diddy party, but I didn't see the name.
But I did know, but I didn't hear anybody.
So I'm the culture shift thing.
But I mean, it was fun. It was. I mean, I
She's the Denzel in the freak off story.
Exactly. But no, I mean, you didn't have like. I'll admit, I saw a lot. I definitely saw a lot, but you didn't have to do that stuff if you weren't on that level. You know what I mean? It's just, so we definitely were looking around like, wow. But no, I don't care where. I put it this way: me and my girls, we ain't get nervous when we found out that the documentary was coming out. Okay, because we ain't do stuff like that. I'm not saying that we were goody two shoes either, but I'm just saying like we weren't gonna be naked and stuff like that.
Y'all
Just,
made
you know.
door with shut. I got you.
So
What'd you say?
On the culture shift point, Gemini. I mean, you think like a Larry Flint or a Hugh Hefner could be like someone starting off now could be a media icon or doing the same thing that those guys do?
Not. Me Too Society has changed that. Like a lot of the things that people were open-minded. It's almost like when we go back to the hippie days. You can't revert back to that. Like we're past that point in time. It's going to be criticized on a certain level at this point. It's just what it is, bro. Like there's no way. Even he was criticized, but was able to slide through. There were, if right now he was alive, it would be a matter of time before there was a girl or two that was like, I really didn't want to be there, and he brought multiple men into my room, and who knows what would happen. Because if you read any of the Playboy models tell-all books, they didn't make it sound like it was, all consensual or all hunky-dory, or they wanted every encounter that they encountered. You know what I mean? So that aspect would have came to light and would come to light if somebody else tried to do that. That'd be like Russian roulette.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he couldn't. I mean, nobody could do that now. It's like it's shifted.
Okay, so let me put out something else in New York, right? Did y'all witness a change in the West Indian parade? Because I
haven't been in a while. Has it gotten less conservative? Sorry, more conservative?
No, I mean, it's like, so between the Puerto Rican parade, the West Indian parade, like, I'll admit that I started seeing more on television about people being, like, outright violated. But that wasn't my experience when I was going to the West Indian parade. It's not like we had fun. There was always, like, the sexual aspect of it, lesser clothes and stuff like that. Yes, I'll say for sure. And we've always been more expressive with our dancing. So, yes, people were twerking, like, but this sort of, like, outright violations of women and stuff, like, it's like more and more started to pop up, like, every year.
Yeah, that's where it gets crazy. Because I mean, I wouldn't even know how to navigate a situation like that now. Because I'm Jamaican. Literally, it's funny that I mean, a lot of those things probably you could have did, and it wouldn't have been considered as offensive. So I'm saying, all of these women, half naked, walking around dancing. Like, I mean, you could literally like walk up to a girl and start dancing behind her, and she wouldn't take it personally.
Exactly.
Like, so,
But the real eye-opening has been since Elon, I suppose, bought Twitter. So it's been, and then